reviewing new cars, checking out new cars, and so much more goes on in the automotive journalism industry. What's also special is attending awards. Awards is a major night for the automotive industry. But today we have an award with a twist, where the Salon Prive 2024 at Blehnehim Palace, and we'll be checking out the Concurs the Elegance Awards that I'm just about to begin in a second at the Salon Prive. Anyways, my name is Achilles and you guys on Prive Media Reviews. Let's get this award night started right away.
1923, I think it could be forgiven. So it's Mr. Jack Boyd Smith Jr. with his 1923 Rolls-Royce Springfield Silver Ghost Pall Mall, and this won my award, the Chairman's Award, yesterday. So congratulations to you once again. Thank you, Jack, so much for bringing it. Thank you. A few words, Jack.
It's a great car. What can I say?
It's a great car. Max?
It really is a great car. So this is the 1920s. This is Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. So it was really the most opulent, the most luxurious car that you could have on the road at the time. Now, you'll notice it's a Springfield Silver Ghost. Well, Springfield, because actually, although it's a Rolls-Royce, this car was built and assembled in Springfield, Massachusetts. You see, Rolls-Royce was trying to circumvent the taxes due on imported cars to compete against the American cars, and so they opened a facility in Springfield, Massachusetts, and they built Silver Ghosts, Phantoms, and Phantom 2s. So a beautiful, beautiful car, but what I think really caught your eye is the restoration. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just unbelievable. I know a little bit about the car. I know how much research went into getting every single detail right. Everyone talks about how many hours the restoration was. I think they spent as many hours restoring the car as they did researching the car.
3,000 hours of research, not restoration, research before the restoration project. Can you get your head around that? 3,000 hours of research. Congratulations, Jack, and the whole family. Thank you for bringing a big round of applause, please. My chairman's choice. Honorary awards before we move to the class awards. So, Max, first up is Shane Houlihan with his 1932 Bugatti Type 55 by Gangloff.
Bugatti Type 55, based on the Grand Prix car. So imagine buying a Grand Prix car and Jean Bugatti decided to turn it into a road car. Imagine that. You buy a Formula 1 car today, and I guess sort of Red Bull is trying to do that, I think, and you turn it into a road car. Well, it's the same thing. And just back in the 1930s, as I said yesterday, one of the most coveted cars of the 1930s were new, and still today, one of the most coveted cars in the pre-war world in collector cars. So a great honor to have it, one off, the only one with his body, the Bugatti Type 55.
Our first honorary award winner. Thank you, Shane. Congratulations. Then we got Lance McCormack driving in, I believe. Hi, Lance. With his 1969 Rolls-Royce Phantom 6 Park Ward. Look at that, the Harrods car.
Another very famous car, Harrods livery. So you've got to think that this car was in service with Dodi Fayed from 1994. He bought it then, had it repainted, had it restored into its Harrods livery. And so if you think about the dates and think about the history, I can only imagine that Princess Diana was probably riding in the back of this car. What a piece of history. The Harrods Rolls-Royce Phantom 6.
Thank you, Max. And would you agree, most opulent here at Salon Prive? Congratulations.
Definitely most opulent.
Matt Pierce Trophy, a wonderful gentleman that had a lot of things to do with all of our lives. He made us smile, laugh and cry in probably equal measures. We've got Joe Pierce, his wife, to present the trophy. So the 1958 ACAs driven by Mike Dacre. Thank you, Mike.
Mike Dacre has brought a fantastic ACAs with great period history. It is wonderful to see it here. The car that had huge success in racing in the 1950s, and the driver actually won the championship and got gifted. I don't remember his name. What's the driver's name? Bob Bernard drove this car, won the 1956 championship, if I'm not 62, and that's what I meant. I'm getting all my dates mixed up. And he won a Formula Ford, which is here as well, isn't it? It's just over there, so have a look at the Formula Ford. It's the first time we've seen them both together here at Salon Prive to see the Formula Ford that he won after winning the championship in this car in period. How cool is that?
As you say, Max, an absolute first. And I hear you've got negotiations underway to try and add that to the collection, Mike. So very best of luck. Hope it goes well. I think the price has just gone up.
That's not going to be an easy negotiation. Thank you very much.
So what you're about to see now is the runner-up and then the winner of each class. And first up is Mohammed Lukman with Johan Poonawala, one of the biggest collectors in the world. This is a sensational 1937 Cord 812 SC convertible by Phaeton. A simply stunning car, Max.
It is absolutely stunning. This is the best that America had to offer in the 1930s, and there are so many innovations on this car. It's the first front-wheel drive car. Yep, you know, you always think a pre-war car is going to be rear-wheel drive. Well, no, this is the very first front-wheel drive car, independent suspension all around, and quite an interesting design. If you notice the front, it's sort of called a coffin design, and the slats for the radiator are actually horizontal and not vertical as on many of the cars at the time. And one important point, have a look at the headlights. Well, you can't see them, because this is the first car that had completely faired-in headlights in the front. So, as I said, the very best that America could produce in the 1930s. Congratulations, it's a beautiful car. I love the Cord.
Thank you for bringing that. Thank you, Mr. Seeing the Rolls-Royce Pavilion behind us. Some magnificent new cars you'll find on there. Please do go and see the Rolls-Royce team. But this year at Salon Prive, we are celebrating, get this, 120 years of Rolls-Royce. The class is inspiring greatness, 120 years of Rolls-Royce, and the runner-up is a 1911 Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost, London to Edinburgh by Holmes, driven by John Brooke. Congratulations.
Very much driven by John. John and I had a quick chat yesterday, and I think he told me he's done 3,500 miles last year in this car. Was it 3,500 miles? 3,500 miles last year? Probably. Am I underselling you? 4,000 miles. Anyway, thousands of miles in this car last year. And these Silver Ghosts were made to be driven. You know, this is known as 1701. This is the car that did that London to Edinburgh drive with the gearbox locked into first gear, wasn't it? And it was to prove the reliability. And this is in 1911 or 1912. So can you imagine? It drove all the way from London to Edinburgh with the gearbox in top gear and back, I think, without any problem. And it is thanks to this actual car that Rolls-Royce then got the, let's say, the name was the best car in the world, because no other car at that time could do it. So John, I'm glad that you're still driving it and you're still making a Rolls-Royce, giving Rolls-Royce the honor it should have. Well done, and keep driving. Rolls-Royce Phantom 2 coming up.
I think, Max, we might just be waiting for the owner. You might just have flown in.
Oh.
Nick, I tell you what, I was going to skip.
This is all very exciting.
Nick, do you think you can find the reverse gear?
In front of you.
So, we're staying with Rolls-Royce, inspiring greatness for 120 years, but this is the post-war class. So, the runner-up is the 1988 Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit two-door by Hooper & Crow, driven by Tony and Jane Robinson. Congratulations, guys. You might need to move on just a little bit for the camera. There you go.
So, the Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit, it's actually a bespoke Rolls-Royce. So, if you wanted one of these in 1988, it wasn't going to be a easy operation. Well, because Rolls-Royce actually didn't offer a two-door Spirit at the time. So, if you really wanted one, what you had to do is you had to go buy a Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit, a brand new car preferably, which is a four-door car. Then you would go to Hooper and have them completely transform your car and produce this for you, a two-door version. So can you imagine the cost to do all that in 1988? And the little touch of class at the very end? The wire wheels. 1988, and why not, fitted with wire wheels from you by Hooper, one of the last coach builders that would do this to your Rolls-Royce. How special is that?
Very special indeed. Well done, Tony, well done, Jane. Thank you so much for bringing it once again.
Thank you very much.
Silver Dawn Drophead Coupe by Parkboard, driven by Volker Schumann. Congratulations. Or maybe not passenger Volker. Who's driving? Who have we got driving today? Oh, you trusted with the keys already. Very wise gentleman.
That's the best. You should get the award for the best driver of the event. This is the Silver Dawn. There's only 5 of these cars ever made, and this is a completely custom-built car, completely handmade. Although this is an era where Rolls-Royce was trying to go into more massive production, well, not in the case of this car. The Silver Dawn drophead was owned by aristocrats, by the very wealthiest of people, because only 5 were made and each one was specified specifically for their owner. This is true opulence of the 1950s. I absolutely love your car and thank you very much for bringing it.
Thank you so much. Congratulations once again. 1960 Maserati 3500 GT Spider by Vignali. Claudio, a double winner here at Salon Prive. Can't be bad, Max.
Double winner here at Salon Prive. As I said, Claudio drove up from Lugano, but that's not the only attribute of this car, the fact that he drove it, although it's a nice thing. It is also the Geneva Motor Show car. It's the car that was presented to the public in 1960 and special to Claudio himself because it's been in the family since the 1990s. Can you imagine? His father actually bought this car from a collector in Switzerland, so it's one that he knows very, very well. Claudio, thank you very much for bringing the Maserati Vignale Spider here to Salon Prive.
Albert Straminsky with his 1951 Mercedes-Benz 300S Cabriolet A. And Max, I'm delighted because Albert was due to be with us last year and for many reasons didn't happen. So I'm truly, truly delighted you've made it and you are our class winner. So congratulations to you.
Congratulations, Albert. You brought us a very special Mercedes-Benz 300S Cabriolet. This is the 1952 Geneva Motor Show car. It's sort of the first or the pre-production car, one of the very, very first ones. And now, don't be fooled, ladies and gentlemen, by the sort of more luxurious looks. Yes, it was completely hand-built, but believe it or not, the underpinnings of this car are very closely related to the 300 SL Gullwing. It's got similar suspension setup, similar engine as well, but not so sporty. Everything was built by hand, completely hand-built, and it was the very top of the line from Mercedes-Benz in the 1950s. It must be a delight to drive. Thank you very much, Albert, for coming with the very early 300S Cabriolet.
Congratulations to you both. To the winner of the Rolls-Royce Inspiring Greatness 120 Years of Rolls-Royce Class. It is the 1933 Rolls-Royce Phantom 2 Sports Saloon by Freestone and Webb, driven by Steve Clark, with the owner sitting loud and proud in the car, Lord Bamford. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations, what a magnificent Rolls Royce. Oh, come out, come out. What an arrival. Hugs all round up here on stage. The 1933 Rolls Royce Phantom 2 Sports Saloon by Freestone and Webb. I was saying yesterday, if you'd ask somebody, a child, to drive a car, this is exactly what they would draw, wouldn't they? A long bonnet, a very tiny windscreen, that aggressive look, no running boards to make it look so fast. Legend has it that one of the third owner of this car saw it driving in London and completely fell in love. So much so that he stopped the car at an intersection and got the driver to tell him all about it and managed to do a deal right there and then to purchase the car because he couldn't go home without it. One of the best looking Phantom 2s that I have definitely ever seen, and for sure one of my favorite Phantom 2s. So thank you very much for bringing it here. I love this car.
Thank you, Lord Bamford, very much. Bamford's collection, he calls them Modificato, and it's where he has his own personal fun with a few favourite rare exotics.
As you do, that's what you would do on a weekend as well, right? A little bit of personal fun modifying some rare exotic Ferraris.
Indeed. So the next runner-up here in the post-war closed international class is the 1968 Lamborghini Islero GT by Marazzi, and it is driven, well no, John Day is in the passenger seat. Congratulations, John.
Congratulations, John. So this is what Lamborghini brought out to fight, to bring the fight to Ferrari. Ferruccio Lamborghini was definitely not a very good friend of Il Commendatore. Quite the contrary. He thought that his cars were just not good enough, and from building tractors, he decided to get into manufacturing of cars. Just around the corner in Sant'Agata Bolognese, not very far from our friends in Maranello. And this is the powerful, dynamic Grand Tourer, the V12 Grand Touring Lamborghini that he made at the time. Interesting little facts. Islero, where does the name come from? Well, same as Miura and same as Murcielago, they're named after famous fighting bulls. A Grand Tourer named after a fighting bull, a bull that actually had defeated the Matador and went down in history. So the Lamborghini Islero named after a fighting bull. Congratulations and well done.
And thank you, John and Susan, once again for bringing a multi-award winner here at Salon Prive. Well done, John. To the 1960 Maserati 3500 GT by Touring, and it is driven by Greg Newman, and it has Ian Barkaway in the passenger seat.
Ian Barkaway is smiling away. He is so happy. I think Greg, Ian might be happier than you are. This is a 3500 GT Touring Maserati. Touring because it was designed by Touring, and it's called Super Leggera. That's sort of the way of manufacturing the body. Touring had this great idea of making a very thin metal frame for extra rigidity, and so they could use some very thin panels. It's been a 3-year restoration for this car. This is the very first time that it's been presented at any Concurs, the first time that it's been seen. Greg, now that you've won your award, I think that you can now drive it until the wheels fall off, and then the boys at Barkaways will restore it again. Just to say, because the reason why he's so happy is that for 15 years, every year, a car restored by Barkaway goes away with a trophy or with a prize. So compliments to you, compliments to Barkaways. You do a fantastic job. Come back again next year and you'll keep winning, maybe. Challenge is on. Let's see if you can do 20 years in a row.
Well done, Ian, and the whole Barkaways team, and congratulations. Thank you. 1986 Aston Martin V8 Vantage X-Pack, driven by Lee Malpass, the runner-up in this class. Congratulations to you.
Absolutely magnificent, the V8 Vantage. This car was built from 1969 to 1989, 20 years in production. The one that you have here is 1986, so it's a very late car. But can you imagine, still in 1986, this car was completely hand-built. It took Aston Martin about 1,200 hours to build each one of these V8s. And of course, if you're a wealthy man and you wanted even more from your Aston Martin, you could specify it like this one, with the X-Pack. I mean, how cool is that? That's a good name, right? I want the X-Pack on my Aston Martin. What was that? Well, it was more power, better suspension, just better, more powerful car. And of course, Aston Martin still with that James Bond connection, as Timothy Oulton had a V8 in the Bond movie. So this continues on that DB5. Congratulations, guys. A beautiful V8 Vantage X-Pack.
Well done, Lee. Thank you for bringing it. Racers class. It's hugely competitive. This year is just ridiculous, with the runner-up here being the 1954 Jaguar D-Type of VJ Marrier, everybody.
This car has just been fully restored by our friends at DK Engineering, and it was so advanced for its time. Don't forget, Jaguar won Le Mans in 1955, 56 and 57 with the D-Type. So this is the car that made history. This is OKV3, one of the 3 works Jaguars that were entered for Le Mans in 54. That's the year, unfortunately, they didn't actually win. But look at the design. It was really aerodynamic. Actually, the designer of this car came from designing planes, and you can really see why. The fin on the back, I mean, that's a Jaguar typical sort of recognizable touch. Well, it was called a vertical stabilizer, because it was thought that at Le Mans, on the Mulsanne Straight, when the car was doing 180 miles an hour, it would make the car slightly longer and so more stable in a straight line. The RAS 12 hours winner, disc brakes all around, lightweight, And it's amazing just how beautiful, yet it wasn't built to be beautiful, but today, look at it. It is so beautiful, slippery through the air with that fin. Congratulations, what a restoration by DK Engineering. Well done for bringing us your Jaguar D-Type. Now, it's even...
Now it's runner-up because look what has won this year's Sports Races class winner is the 1957 Ferrari 335S by Scaglietti, driven by Brian Ross. We've got Kim in the passenger seat, and who's this little fella here?
Person.
Little Garrison. He's more interested, can I just show you? More interested in playing his duck game than he is... Anyway, it all happens here at Salon Prive right now.
Well, Garrison doesn't realise that Fanjo drove this car, Jean Debien drove this car, Mike Hawthorne, Sterling Moss, Deportago, Von Trips. Garrison, even I got to drive this car. Must make it more special. It is the works Ferrari 335S, driven by all the greats, ladies and gentlemen. A Scuderia Ferrari car. This was the fastest, the most powerful car that you could buy in 1957. I say you could buy, you couldn't actually buy one because it was only ever run by the Ferrari Works team. What an unbelievable car. The following year, there was a pontoon fender that just didn't have the same performance. We're talking about quad cam, not to get too technical, twin plug engine, dry sump. It is an absolute flying machine, and this is the car that came second at the Mille Miglia in 1957, which is a pretty unbelievable place. We all know about the Mille Miglia, and it was winning. It was winning, but Enzo Ferrari famously made the call to slow him down so that Taruffi, his favorite driver, could win in 1957 at the Mille Miglia. It is a hugely important Ferrari, but not only that, just look at it. It is just so beautiful, isn't it? It is magnificent.
Isn't it indeed? I think we should let Garrison get back to his duck game. Congratulations, Garrison. Am I going to have one more high five? Well done, congratulations to you all. Thank you. And we've got the runner-up first of all, which is the 1963 Ferrari 400 Super America Coupe Aerodinamico by Pininfarina. And it is owned by Michael Korecki, driven, I believe, by Hans Factor. Thank you very much, Hans, for bringing it up.
The 400 Super America. This car is, you could call it from a series, the Super America series, which was the top of the line for Ferrari. Not in racing, obviously. This was the most luxurious GT car that you could buy from Ferrari. Each one was personalized to the first owner. To give you an idea of the types of owners of these cars, Gianni Agnelli of Fiat fame, he was the first owner of the very first car that came off of the production line. It was a huge price tag on the Ferrari, the 400 Super America. You can have it in different guises with covered headlamps, long wheelbase, short wheelbase. This is the long wheelbase covered headlamp version with a 4-litre V12 engine. Look at the size of it, look at it, and it's only got 2 seats. To give you an idea of the type of person that would buy a car like this, the Aga Khan, the rich and famous, would specify cars like this, the 400 Ferrari Super America. Thank you very much for bringing it, this Pininfarina aerodynamic design.
I was just asking Matt whether this is Oro Chiaro Metallizzato, a colour I know very well, of course, and indeed it is. One of my favourite Ferrari colours. It's magnificent. Now, again, we're staying with Ferrari because we are now moving on to the 60th anniversary of the Ferrari 275. And the runner-up here is the 1965 GTB 6C. Matt will explain by Pininfarina, driven by Tom White. Tom, how are you? Congratulations.
He's got a matching little jacket to the car. Look at that. Makes all the efforts. 275. 6C short nose. To me, the 275 is just one of the most beautiful Ferraris. It may not be the most valuable, it may not be the rarest, but just look at the design. It's got that long bonnet, a very short rear with a camtail. The design of this car has really aged so well. And not only the design, You've got to think that this car was produced in 1965. However, the performance of it is quite astounding. It's got a V12 engine in the front, of course, but it's also got a 5-speed gearbox. It's got a rear-mounted transaxle, so it's beautifully balanced. I would say that it would be no problem for you to drive to the south of France after Salon Prive in a 275 if you had one.
Well, thank you, Max. I might try that one day. And the winner of the 60th anniversary, the Ferrari 275 class, is an incredible 275 GTB/C by Scaglietti, and it is one of those private collectors, Max.
One of those private collectors that has an expert driver at the wheel, fully restored by and overseen by Tom Hartley Jr. Don't be fooled, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the same car that you just saw. This is a GTB-C. C, tiny little letter, but it's worth a lot of money in the world of 275s. It's a competition version, competizione. There are only 10 competition 275s built for homologation. All aluminium body, extremely fragile. You see owners of alloy cars, and when you go to push them, not that they will break down, but you have to be very careful because it can dent very easily. It's got some extra fins on the side for more cooling, so a special body and a racing 275. Interestingly, the first owner of this car bought it and actually never raced it, and hence it stayed so original and unmolested. Fabulously restored, one of only 10 cars in the world. Thank you very much for bringing it along. Thank you to the team at Tom Hartley.
Well done. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, we're now moving on to the supercar icons, Prancing Horse. You see a lot of Ferraris always here at Salon Prive, and it's the 1985 Ferrari 288 GTO by Pininfarina, and it is owned by Martin Ullman Smith. Congratulations, and Wolfie.
272 of these cars built only. It forms that magnificent, supercar lineup, doesn't it? 288 GTO, F40, F50, LaFerrari. Now, probably another one coming up in the lineup. Believe it or not, Ferrari actually designed this car because the idea was to go rallying. They were going to enter the Group B World Rally Championship. Yeah, they actually never did. It never did happen, but this is a true homologation special, and I think often people forget that. Group B rallying was cancelled due to the big accident and Toivonen dying, and so therefore they just left this as a road car and never went driving. V8 twin turbo. It is a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing, isn't it? It looks like a throwaway. If you just squint and look quickly, you don't realize quite how powerful and special it is. Restored by our friends at Berlonger. They've done a magnificent job for this car. Thank you very much for bringing it along. It's such a rare Ferrari to have here.
The winner of this class is another F50, but a different F50 driven by Karim Saeed.
F50. After the 288 GTO in the lineup, we have the F40, of course, and then next is the F50. F50, why? Well, it was called an F50 because it was built to commemorate 50 years of Ferrari being in existence. It was an anniversary, but it's not just a car that they threw together. It was inspired, it was derived with lots of Formula One technology. It's got a V12 naturally aspirated engine, so derived from that 641, the Formula One car, which you can hear, thank you very much, exactly on cue. A carbon fiber top, all carbon Kevlar panels, and it gives you that pure driving experience. No driver's aids, ladies and gentlemen, nothing at all. No traction control, nothing at all. 349 were produced. Why? Well, the ideal number was 350, but famously Enzo Ferrari always said that you should build one less than the amount of cars that you want to build to keep demand up, so only 349 were ever built. Thank you very much for bringing the F50. It's great to see on the road.
See all the Group C cars when you first came in. This is the runner-up in that category. It's the Lancia Stratos HF5 Pantone, the Alitalia car. Look at that, Max.
I mean, I might be biased, but to me, is there anything more iconic than an Alitalia liveried Lancia Stratos? This is 70s rallying when, the colors were loud. Alitalia was obviously the airline for the national airline for Italy. So it was quite appropriate because these cars were flying in the rallies. Monte Carlo rally winner, and this is one of the works cars in this livery. I mean, maybe I'm showing my age, but to me it's one of the most iconic things to have a Stratos in Alitalia livery. And now this car, believe it or not, shares the engine with a Ferrari or a Dino, a 246 Dino, and a Fiat Dino, which is quite interesting, but completely different conception. Very, very, very short wheelbase, and the drivers at the time would say how difficult it was to handle. But someone like Sandro Munari, who was World Rally Champion, had absolutely no problem and dominated in a Lancia Stratos. Well done, Peter. Beautifully driven. Don't stall off of the podium now.
Okay, the winner, Max, on this class is the 1996 Subaru Impreza WRC 97 by ProDrive, and it's owned by Christian Glazel. Congratulations.
Richard Core, actually. Christian Glazel was the Stratos.
Richard.
Richard Core is a Subaru. I mean, the Stratos was iconic, but if you are a bit younger, you'll probably find the Subaru even more iconic. These blue rally cars dominated everywhere. And then you sprinkle a little bit of Colin McRae on top of that. How about that? So this car was actually tested and driven by Colin McRae. This is the very first Subaru World Rally car that was ever made. This is what gave birth to that iconic blue with the 555 livery, which, you know, people probably don't know, but it's a cigarette brand from Japan that would sponsor these cars all over the world. Back in the days when cigarette companies were allowed to sponsor rally cars and race cars. So one of the most iconic Subarus, dominated rallying and driven by one of the rally greats, Colin McRae. Thank you very much for bringing it along. Really love it.
Your Grace, you better, I think, shake hands, and this is your Duke of Marlborough Award from yesterday, Your Grace, you remember?
1993.
We've got Dizzy Rascal in the passenger seat, as you would, of course, and we've got Simon, in fact, Matt Honeysett driving it from Simon Furlong here.
This car was literally pulled to pieces by Lars, who's a Danish engineer, literally down to the last nut and bolt. He re-engineered completely everything, and he spent his life building what you see here with no help except for himself and the ghost in his garage. It is really a superb. This is way before Lamborghini was taken over by Volkswagen, and I think a wonderful example of its era. And yes, it did get my award yesterday because Lars put so much work and effort and love into it, and unfortunately he had to fly back to Denmark, but what a worthy winner. A big hand for him, for Lars.
Often get music royalty here at Salon. Mr. Dizzy Rascal, everybody, in case you hadn't quite recognised. And get this, I just had the biggest compliment ever. He just said,
It's all about those bulls.
okay, now we're moving on to supercar icons. Prior to 2005, the winner is actually a 2004 Porsche 996.2 GT2 owned by Rob Howard. And Max, I think this kind of really signifies a turning point with Concurs events, doesn't it? Presenting cars now that are 20 years old that look like they came off the production line yesterday.
Yeah, that's very true. It's just because you're on the forefront of the trends here at Salon Prive, that's why. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it really does signify a change, and it's great to see the younger generation getting involved. The 996 GT2. Well, if you thought that a Porsche Turbo was fast, if you thought that a Porsche Turbo was fast enough, or not fast enough, I should say, then you would have specified a 996 GT2. This is the same running gear, similar running gear to a Porsche Turbo, but it's only rear-wheel drive. It's got no driver aids. It's lighter. It's basically a racing car for the road. This is, in 2005, the fastest and most track-focused car that Porsche was making available. The 930 Turbo was nicknamed the Widowmaker. This is kind of like the Widowmaker, slightly toned down. They got technology better, so the turbo life wasn't as bad. But I tell you what, it can certainly make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up when you put your foot down in the 996 GT2.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Rob. Thanks again for bringing it up. Congratulations, an award winner here at Salon Prive. One very significant, important car. That's because Lord Bamford, having picked up one award, had to run around the cricket pitch and get in his Ferrari 166mm Max to pick up his class win here at Salon Prive.
Class winner, the Ferrari 166mm. MMY, well, because it denominated the wins at the Mille Miglia. This is a Vignale bodied 166 that was ordered new by Rubirosa, Porfirio Rubirosa. He was a, what was he? He was a racing driver, he was a polo player, he was a playboy as well, I think. I mean, he was rich, good looking, had cars, horses, and many, many, many girlfriends. He dated people like Marilyn Monroe or Rita Hayworth, for example. I mean, what a life. Unfortunately, killed on the Bois de Boulogne Ferrari, funny enough, doing some street racing, but this is a car that he had ordered brand new, and Lord Bamford bought it a while ago and stayed in a collection since 1960 until you bought it with someone that you knew well, I think, and now restored and brought back to its former glory. Look at the design and the color combination of this car. A 166, a competition Ferrari, one of the very early first competition Ferraris from the 1950s. Thank you very much for ringing along, and congratulations on your class win. E12 Ferrari engine. Over time, it seems like the engines got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay, Max, we've located a listed driver that's spent too long in the champagne tent, I think. So we're going to go back to the pre-war closed Elegance class. I'm going to award the runner-up to the 1930 Bentley 4.25 Sports Saloon by Freestone and Webb, with Mike Dacre, and owned by Peter Little, I believe, with a champagne glass, no less.
Drinking and driving is allowed here at Salon Prive. It's one of the few places where we're allowed to do it. This is the last known survivor with this Freestone and Webb body. Have a look at the body. It's a fabric, actually, body. It's a Rexine leather. It was made to be lighter than a steel body. So this car was delivered in 1930, and can you imagine, by 1937 it had already accumulated 46,000 miles. And what I read before is that when the car was delivered new, they offered a 5-year warranty, which is pretty unbelievable for 1930s. I bet they were really surprised when they found out it did 46,000 miles after about 6 years. But it's a Bentley, and it was a very, very reliable, of course. This was a driver-focused saloon. If you have a look inside, it's got bucket seats in the front, no division. It's because obviously whoever specified this car from you wanted to drive it. I like your exhaust trick, that's very good. Haha, you see, it even has the loud, sporty exhaust. There we go. All the ladies in the back are smiling. You have that effect on them. Thank you very much for coming over with the...
And Max, most exceptional coach work, a very hotly contested award here at Salon Prive always. It goes to the 1966 Ferrari 500 Superfast by Pininfarina. It's owned by Andrew Bagel, driven by David Hay.
What a fantastic machine. This is the continuation of the 400 Super America that you may remember we saw earlier on. This car, when new, it's right-hand drive, so it was delivered new to the UK, had a list price of almost £12,000. To put it into context, at the same time, from Ferrari, you could buy a Ferrari 275. We saw them before, and it was half the price the 275 was. This is twice the price of a 275. The Superfast was so extravagant. It was the largest, it was the most powerful Ferrari, road Ferrari, that was ever made. And look at the size of it. This is, ladies and gentlemen, the fastest production car in 1966. Mind you, it probably had to be with a name like that, super fast. I mean, what a cool name for a Ferrari. What Ferrari do you have? I have a super fast one. It's the 500 Super Fast. For the rich and famous, extremely expensive, and only one of 8 made in right-hand drive here at Salon Prive. Thank you very much.
It is the 1927 Isotta Fraschini Tipo Fleetwood Roadster by Nick and Shelley Short. Congratulations! Huge round of applause, please.
Rudolph Valentino's impersonators back for more. He even got a round of applause.
It's the 1933 Rolls-Royce Phantom 2 Sports Saloon by Freestone and Webb, driven and owned by Lord Bamford. Congratulations, Lord B.
Congratulations to the Rolls-Royce Phantom 2 P2 Continental by Freestone and Webb, commissioned by a cotton magnate in Lancashire.
And I guess that just leaves one car, right? So the winner, the best of show for the Salon Prive Concurs presented by Viva Private Clients for 2024 is the 1957 Ferrari 335S by Scaglietti, owned and driven by Brian, Ross and Kim in the passenger seat. Amazing news, guys. Congratulations. Let's turn her off, Brian. Let's have you guys out of the car.
So much pain in my hand just filming the beautiful award, but the look on my face doesn't say anything. What a beautiful evening we had here at Salon Prive. It is so much that is on offer. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. You remember the drill. Hit like if you like this video, share this video, friends, family, like money enthusiasts. Please subscribe to Prive Media Reviews as always. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.